Welcome to this video. There's a great campaign on Waalaxy. In this video, I'll show you how to create a campaign to invite prospects and then send them one or more messages. This campaign will in fact automatically send an invitation to the prospects you want on LinkedIn and send one or more messages to those who have accepted your invitation. With the free package, you can send 80 invitations per month or 20 per week. With the advanced and business packages, you'll be able to send 800 invitations per month or 200 per week. If you followed the video where I showed you how to get a 1-month trial on the business package, you'll be able to send 800 invitations during your 1-month trial. Let's start by looking at the campaign if you want to send a single message to prospects who accept your invitation. To do this, go to Start a Campaign at the top, then Browse Sequences. You can then select the Invitations plus Messages campaign. Next, you'll need to name the campaign. In our case, we'll put Invitations plus Messages Photographs Ren, as you may have seen in another video I made. We've imported photographers from Ren into Waalaxy, so we're going to select them here. Next, we're going to import the Ren's photographers we've imported from the LinkedIn search. We'll select From My Lists, then choose Ren's photographers. Here you have two options. Either select all the prospects you've imported directly, or select them manually. If you wish to add them all to your campaign, simply click on Yes, Add All Prospects. If you wish to select them manually, simply click on No, I Select, then choose them manually, like this, then click on Save. Next, you have the option of attaching a note to your invitation. So what's a note? A note is a message limited to 300 characters that your prospect will receive with the invitation. Does it really have to be one? Personally, I don't attach a note to my invitations. Why not? Because I've done some tests, and it may seem surprising, but my acceptance rates were often lower when I included a note. Waalaxy had also carried out tests, and out of 10,000 invitations sent out by them to different profiles, such as CEOs, salespeople, and business developers, acceptance rates were generally 10% lower. With a note, it's up to you to see what works best for you. If you want to do it like I do and not send a note, just click on No, Continue. Otherwise, click on Yes, Add a Note. You'll then have to write your note. As a reminder, when sending a note, you'll need to be very concise since there's a maximum of 300 characters. In Use a Template, you can see that by default you have a ready-made note that you can use if you wish. You can insert other variables in addition to the first name, such as the family name, but also the company name. In another video, I'll share my tips for creating optimized prospecting notes and messages on Waalaxy. Once you've written your note, if you'd like to add one, just click on Submit. Next, we'll need to set the delay between the invitation and the sending of the first message. In concrete terms, if the person accepts your invitation, they'll receive a message. If you set the day to 0, this means that as soon as they accept the invitation, they'll immediately receive the message. Clearly, this isn't great, it looks unprofessional, and it shows that there's some automation behind it. What I do personally is to set myself a 24-hour deadline. So when the person accepts the invitation, they'll receive the first message in 24 hours. If you want to do the same, just click on One Day, then click on Next. Now you'll have to write your first prospecting message, then click on Validate. Finally, all you have to do is make sure that everything is right with your campaign and click on Launch My Campaign. The campaign has now been launched. If you don't want to send just one message but prefer to send 2 or more messages to the prospect, that's possible. You'll need to opt for another campaign. To do this, simply select the appropriate campaign. Go to Start a Campaign, Browse Sequences, then click on the plus next to the filter and select Invitation. Well, next you'll need to click on the plus again and this time select Messages. Here you can choose from 2 to 7 messages. The procedure is the same. In our example, we'll start with 3 messages. So choose 3 and click on Select. You'll see that the setup is similar to what we've just done with the campaign with just 1 message. We'll need to name the campaign. We can put 3 messages: Photographer, Queen. Likewise, here we'll need to import the prospects. The only difference with the campaign we used earlier is that we'll have to integrate the delay between the first message and subsequent messages. Obviously, if the person responds to the first message, they won't receive the other messages. This is when they don't reply to the previous messages. In my case, I generally set a time limit of 7 days. In other words, if the person doesn't reply to the first message, they'll receive a second message 7 days later. You'll need to enter the second message here. And here again, you'll need to enter the time between the second message and the third message. Once again, only if the person hasn't replied to the second message. In my case, I'm putting 7 days. Then you'll have to write the third and final message. Finally, all you have to do is make sure that everything is right with your campaign and click on Launch My Campaign. Note that you also have the option of adding an action before the invitation is sent, such as visiting the prospect's profile or tracking him, her, before the invitation is sent. However, Waalaxy's data suggests that this has very little impact on the acceptance rate. These actions should be used in other cases, as we'll see later. That's all for this video on how to create a campaign to invite prospects and then send them one or more messages. In the next video, I'll show you how to create a campaign using the little-known but very powerful message request action.